Naim Haroon Sakhia is our guest right now, an immigration attorney, our guest on your 956 drive home. So do you have a direct question, Davey, for him?
Well, I guess since this is the sea in which you swim, sir, what do you think of Judge Hanen's ruling, and is it going to be appealed? And then what's going? You have any DACA clients?
Yeah, I do have many, and I will say this, that the judge's ruling on the law is very sound.
All right.
What he has done is he has basically said that this piece you carved out in order to target people, giving some status to them because of the political pressures you had in 2012, you issued a memo, you created this program, and you did not follow the procedure, nor did you basically fulfill the requirements of taking care of the laws passed by the U.S. Congress.
Okay.
So I am saying this program is illegal. However, since this was passed almost back in 2012, so it has been more than 9 years now, and we have created a class of people who has relied on that program's provision and have built their lives around that. And not just those people, but also the employers who are employing them. You have to remember 800,000 people basically took benefit of this.
Yeah.
Those people are now working. They have families. They have jobs. They have responsibilities. You cannot just take them out of the workforce like that. So the judge is saying, I'm letting them keep the benefit as it is right now. I'm not going to disturb that. I'm also going to let them allow USCIS to let them continue with that benefit. However, no more new applications until and unless the government basically fulfills the APA requirements, Administrative Procedures Act requirement, in order to carve out any kind of program like this, or when my ruling is appealed and it goes to the appellate board, Circuit Court of Appeals, or even perhaps wind up in the U.S. Supreme Court. Whatever they decide. Or the third thing, which is basically very important, he said any kind of change in immigration law has to originate from the Congress.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So he is saying either follow the proper procedure to create this kind of program, or better yet, ask the Congress to create whatever program you feel is going to address the issue of this illegal population in the U.S. Go ahead, please.
Do you think that deportation, for the people listening who have DACA people in their family, is deportation in prospect? No.
I don't think so, because in the opinion, the judge has specifically said that this opinion does not order any kind of adverse action against anybody who has taken advantage under this program.
Naim Haroon Sakhia is an immigration attorney. He's joining us on News Talk 710 KURV to talk about the fate of the DACA kids and basically how Judge Andrew Hanen's ruling on Friday affects all of them. Right now, real quickly, Title 42 expired on Sunday, and could you give us an idea of how all that is supposed to work?
Yeah.
Well, Title 42 was basically used to essentially remove people or expel them based on health-related grounds. Since that has expired, essentially that tool has been taken away. In my view, it's, given the pandemic situation, I mean, you can think about adverse impact it will have on the health situation. So that is really something which has to be looked into very carefully and not handled the way it has been handled.
This is Davis Rankin again. I'm sure someone will appeal because it doesn't cost much to file a lawsuit. There's lots of interested parties, and I guess they're going to roll the dice. But there was so much chatter when this happened from people who said, not following the way it's supposed to execute this thing, that kind of dooms it. The virtue of keeping them here or not to one side, they didn't follow the proper procedure. I suspect, and this is not cynical, that President Obama knew that at the time, but he also knew that nothing was going to happen for a long time, and these kids would be protected. Do you happen to know the composition? We always think, because we're on the Mexican border, we always think of the people protected by DACA as being typically from Mexico, but I have no idea where all these DACA people are coming from. Do you?
Yeah, so majority of them are from Mexico. It's not restricted to Mexico. So I've seen a statistic saying 80% of them are from Mexico. Keep in mind that these kids are the ones who had to be in the U.S. since before 2007, and they should have been brought into U.S. before the age of 16. Yeah. So if you do the math, it has been a very long time when those people cross the border. Huh. Now, border crossing today, perhaps international travel today, is more as compared to what it was back then. So if, let's say, you were allowing people from other countries coming in, or even not putting any restrictions on where you came from, just by virtue of the logistics of the travel, you can expect that majority of them would be from the states which have common border with the United States. And we don't see that problem coming from our northern border at all. We always see it from the southern border.
What are you immigration lawyers telling your clients? I'm assuming they're all registered somewhere and not just hiding and hoping to be ignored.
Right. So we are telling them, and this is very new. I mean, this ruling came just last Friday. Mm-hmm. So obviously we are in communication with the clients through personal contacts as well as through these, wonderful channels we have now. We are telling them basically that, look, the law is basically is how it is stated in the opinion. Now, there's a funny thing going on, and I think I should touch on that as well. You can have the exact same laws, exact same facts underlying any lawsuit. Okay. If you are being heard in the Southern District of Texas versus, let's say, Northern District of California, you may have totally different rulings or totally different opinions.
Oh, yeah.
And that is just unfortunate that, parties try to basically do forum shopping. So if somebody wants from the right side of the political aisle needing some kind of opinion, they will go nowhere else except southernmost district of the Texas federal courts. And another person would go to San Francisco and get the kind of opinion they want. Eventually, obviously, something like this will end up in Supreme Court, and they are the ones who are going to finally decide.
It's like some sort of legal ping pong.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Well, how would the Supreme Court? I'm not sure how to phrase it. How would the Supreme Court overlook the violation? What's the word? What's the phrase? The violation of the way it's supposed to be done. You got to do this. You got to do this. I mean, you got to publish it. You got to wait. How can they just overlook? How would they just overlook that in this case because it's so fraught or appealing to people? Because that then says in the next case with something that's not appealing and not kids, they're going to have to do the same thing. They're going to have to make the same ruling.
Yeah, exactly. And they will not overlook it, actually. They will basically say, when Trump actually challenged this, they also did it in the wrong way. And if you read the Supreme Court opinion on that decision, which came last year, you will see that the program actually survived basically on a technicality. Yeah. So it looks like the political expediency usually takes over the good sense of doing things in a proper way.
I'm shocked. I
never heard that, huh?
A pox on both their houses. Both parties are playing with these. Both parties are acting unconscionably. So is there any reason? Give us some hope that Congress will act on this in some fashion, and they will not keep.
So I'll answer it this way. About, I think, 2-3 days ago, there was some talk about inserting the immigration provisions in the reconciliation bill, which is going to basically finally decide the fate of the budget.
That just makes it then a Democrat thing, and not because the Republicans aren't going to go for that. And it just poisons the whole thing. Sorry. I'm arguing with you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's politics. But the thing is this: if it goes through under this vehicle through the Senate, it will still be valid legislation, and then it will have the force of the law.
I want to thank you for your time from the Sakhia Law Group. Naim Haroon Sakhia, our guest on News Talk 710 KURV, immigration attorney.